I'm Mikel Bowie, and you're listening to the Cavalier Connection podcast.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Cavalier Connection podcast. I'm your host, Jack Lowe, joined as always by Jay Ballard and my dad, Jeff Lowe. Dad, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm great. How about you, Jay?
Excellent. Just watched the Who's get a big W and recover from that disaster on Saturday. So good to go.
Yep, tonight we got some nice stuff on tab for y'all. The men's basketball games, as we had one last Saturday, pretty disappointment against Notre Dame, and as well as tonight, which was very pleasing to watch against Louisville. A little bit of quarterback controversy, I wouldn't call it controversy, a little bit of quarterback talk for the football team, and as well as our NFL picks. Alright, so I think we start with basketball. So, we started out with last Saturday, very, very rough game against Notre Dame. Couldn't seem to get anything going. Notre Dame seemed to have every single shot falling their way. The final there was Notre Dame 76 to Virginia's 54. Very ugly game. Now the Hoos did bounce back tonight with a solid victory over Louisville 77 to 53. So Jay, what are your first takeaways from the two games?
Yeah, kind of what I expected tonight. A little bit more impressive, I think, tonight than I even thought they would be. Saturday was a really big disappointment. We went into that game as a 10-point favorite on the road. Notre Dame had been struggling. They had some really bad losses on their schedule. I think they were somewhere in the neighborhood of 5-10 going in, something like that. And including in that was like a 20-point loss to the Citadel at home. So when you go into that game, I had talked about on the last pod how I thought we would kind of go into that game and get right and play very well, and it was good to kind of get into the ACC play with almost a gimme. I mean, I think they're picked last in the conference this year, and so that was really never a ball game. They jumped on us. I think was it 13-0 out of the gate.
It was something crazy at the beginning there. Yeah.
And they were hitting crazy shots. The kid at the end of the shot clock where he's in the air and just throws it, banks it in. And we just never recovered. They punched us right in the mouth, and we never recovered. I read a lot of stuff, watched the coaches show, did all those things just to kind of see what kind of gauge I thought Tony and the staff and the guys would come out with tonight. And, as Tony always does, he talks about staying together. And tonight's effort was fantastic. Individual effort across the board. I mean, everybody who came in tonight did something well. I'll let Jeff take some of the guys. I'll kind of highlight a few. Tane Murray comes to mind first. We've kind of been hard on him as a podcast. But Tony loves him, and tonight I think he kind of got a glimpse of why. Just played really solid. Wasn't outstanding. He made the plays that came to him. He knocked down a couple of open shots. Ended up with 12 points, 2 assists. IMAC, that's my guy. IMAC is my guy. I love some IMAC. And he finally caught fire again tonight. That was great to see. Rhodey was solid. And then, Ryan Dunn tonight, I don't even care about the points. The rebounding tonight from him was so aggressive and looked like a very focused effort. Like I think he went into that game knowing he had to be the guy to rebound for us to have a shot, because Louisville came in as I think the 26th best offensive rebounding team in the country. And I don't have the full stat sheet in front of me to see how we did, statistically on the boards, but just watching the game, it felt like we were, if not out rebounding them, right there in rebounds.
34-27 us.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to say that because to say we out rebounded somebody, especially who's pretty good at rebounding. But yeah, I thought it was a great effort on the boards. Tony was asked last night on the coaches show, the last question of the night was about what are you doing about rebounding, and they said what about rebounding? That was the question, and he said, yeah, what about it? I don't know. He said, but then we've been working on some things. We're obviously trying to play more physical and do some things. So I got some other thoughts, but I know Jeff wants to jump in with some things, so I'll turn it over to Jeff and then maybe come back.
Yeah, against Notre Dame, we were out rebounded 40-27, and I had throughout the game, it was a rough game, and they would show rebounding stats, and I feel like you could throw them out the window because, to be honest, everything Notre Dame threw up went in. We don't have any defensive rebounds, and everything we threw up didn't go in. So there's a lot more to be had in that game. Tonight, the rebounding really stood out, and the other one that really stood out to me was Grove. Groves was physical with his rebounds. Like you could just see, like you said, with Dunn and extra effort. Like I got to go get this ball. He was very aggressive. I think one of them he went down to the floor early in the game or something like that. But I was impressed with Groves on the defensive boards as well. Dunn, like you said, I think he was 15 and 10 tonight. I don't know how many block shots he ended up with. 3 block shots and a steal. It was good to see that old Dunn. He got an alley-oop dunk, got another dunk at some point in the game. He was aggressive, and getting McNeely going was huge. He's just been so ice cold, and once he feels it though, man, that guy he can do the Steph Curry and pull up from the logo, and they can't stop him. And what he hit, he finished with 4 threes tonight. And they had the one at the end of the half that got changed to a 2. So that was exciting.
I think that was a Corey Alexander special, is what they like to call it in Charlottesville now.
Oh, yeah. And then we're just a very different team home and away. As a lot of teams are. We're comfortable in the gym. We haven't played many road games this year. A couple neutral sites. So the team is young. I know Corey Alexander was talking about how young the team is. You take Beekman and Groves off, and it's a lot of young guys. Even maybe, I don't remember, a couple games ago, at one point I looked on the floor, and Beekman wasn't out there. I think on the floor was McNeely, sophomore, Dunn, sophomore, Bond, freshman, Gertrude, freshman, and it may have been Buchanan on the floor. I was like, there's nobody over a sophomore on the floor. Right. So the ceiling – they can only grow and get better, we hope. Yeah. Hey, Murray stunned me tonight. I was like, this dude just knew that I was going to question rotation, and he came out and had we need some people every game with this team. We need somebody to come out and do something like that that's just unexpected to help out the Beekmans of the world. When McNeely's shot's not falling. When Dunn can't make a layup, we need somebody who can go out and do that. And Groves has been that guy at times this year. Hey, Murray, I didn't see that one coming. And Gertrude didn't play much tonight at all. No. I pulled up the box score, and I guess it's down right now on the minutes. Everybody plays 0 according to ESPN right now. So I'm just interested to see Gertrude's minutes. Buchanan played a lot. And there was a stretch there. They had Buchanan and Groves on the floor at the same time, which I didn't expect to see that.
They actually stretched the lead during that time. They stretched it out a little bit. They had done.
I was saying, hopefully that gets because they had done it 3 at that time, I believe, and that gets space the floor for Groves to be able to get outside, and they have to respect the big man in the middle. You hope. Buchanan, he just needs to work on, we say it every week, of course, the weight room and just get a little touch around that rim. But Buchanan scored, and I don't think he had scored in quite a few games. Bond didn't play much tonight either.
No.
That was strange. I don't. We talked last week about rotation. You got me. I guess it's whatever the hot hand is, and that's what we're going to run with.
Well, that was another thing Tony talked about last night on the coaches show was he said flat out, we're still trying to figure this out. And Bond, I think his minutes might have been a little lower, but he was in there and he just didn't statistically provide a lot, but he was pretty impactful when he was in there. He had a couple, big boards where you can see he's a man as a,
Yeah,
as
he
a
is.
first year player. He's a man. We had 20 assists tonight on 30 baskets. So
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
that's that Virginia system. We don't do a lot of one-on-one because I don't know how many of those were stick backs as well. I mean, we had 9 offensive rebounds. So, yeah, I mean, tonight was, like you said, home and away splits. So Saturday we're at NC State. That's going to be a good test. And to be honest, if we're looking at predicting what is going to happen, I think that the biggest thing that you could expect is probably for Virginia to go struggle at NC State. What do you think?
You would think so. I mean, just looking at what's happened this year, NC State's going to play fast, a little bit physical. We've had trouble with physical teams. Notre Dame just out physicaled us too. At the beginning of the game, I was like, this can't continue. I mean, I felt like you said, a couple of those shots, just straight luck. Everything they threw up was going in. Like, who's going to shoot 70% all game? But it don't even matter because when we came down, we couldn't make anything. The offense looked bad. And, I mean, they're bumping McNeely. Beekman, it's just like I don't know how many turnovers he ended up with against Notre Dame. I've never seen him turn the ball over that much. And I think it's just he was – how many?
5.
I think he was just tired. I mean, he had to do everything. I liked tonight. Like Beekman got a little rest tonight too. There was a little stretch where he sat. It's probably longer than you ever see Beekman sit.
Yeah.
And they had a Rhodey running the point at that point.
Yeah.
And that's where I think also we could. I'm a Gertrude believer, but you can go Gertrude, let him run the point a little bit as well, or run Gertrude and Beekman some together, and maybe let Gertrude run the ball up and let Beekman play off of him a little bit and get a little bit of a break because. I mean, there's times
comes back. I think that's where you'll get Beekman.
Dante Harris, right?
Yeah. I think
there's that gives an opportunity for him to get a little bit of a rest on offense. I mean, he's bringing it all down the floor, and then in a game like the Notre Dame game, we couldn't score. So then he's trying to go get a basket, or he's trying to force things, and then 5 turnovers is very uncharacteristic for Reese. So
have you seen we put up a poll on our Twitter. Did you see the results for, first of all, after Saturday? What was the percentage? Have you seen the results?
I saw it. I can't recall. I know the 60-some% say no tournament.
68% say no tournament.
58-42.
58-42.
58? Okay,
Yes,
it must
58 no.
I looked at it last.
It was in the 60s when I had seen it the other day.
Yeah.
How many votes was that?
36. Well, 36 total. So
36 total.
whoever wants to do the math out there, it's not going to be me.
I did. I put my vote in, and I still believe we're going to be a tournament team. We'll see. I just Sonny Bennett's going to get this team together, and they're young, and I just think this is the younger team that we typically have, and I just think that's just part of it. There's going to be games like Notre Dame, Memphis, Wisconsin, that we're just not going to show up. And then we're going to come out. It's like Syracuse is better than Notre Dame, and we came out and beat the brakes out off of Syracuse. Yeah. We're going to come out some weeks, and McNeely's going to come out and hit, 5 threes in the first half, and we're going to win. And that's just where I just see. I see us. We're always the year we didn't make the tournament in the NIT. The last time we didn't make it, where were we at in ACC standing? We were still top.
We were
like 4.
We were 5th or 6th.
We were up there.
We made a run at the regular season title.
So what I believe we're gonna still push to be the top. I think we'll still be top 5 in the ACC. Now, if that gets you in, I don't know. ACC is not the conference it used to be in basketball.
But yet, when the ACC gets to the tournament, it performs well. They can take all their early season losses and stuff them in a sack, mister. Because I don't care. When the ACC is very solid.
They're solid. we used to be a little deeper
Yeah.
than we are now. Your top teams, any one of them can run through, and typically we get one or two in the Final Four every year.
Yeah.
When it comes to teams that make the tournament, our numbers have went down quite a bit. There were years, there'd be talks of 8 teams. Are they going to get in 9 teams? We're not at that level
No,
currently. So,
absolutely not.
um,
One,
I saw it.
yeah, I saw the poll, and I did put my vote in. And then it's just like we said, can't get too high, can't get too low. Night, then we
Right.
went by 24.
Well, I was
Louisville's
going to say, I was really bringing this up to say I'd like to put up another poll
oh yeah,
tonight after a win and see what the swing
it'll
is.
flip. It'll
Oh,
flip.
Yep. I think
It's
it
from
will.
game to game. After the Memphis game, you'd have had to say it's. This is how people are quick to react. I've definitely been that person in my time too.
No, for
I'm
sure.
trying to. What's that?
I said, oh, for sure. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
one small little note on NC State Notre Dame. Notre Dame's leading NC State currently 26-16, something to look out for, which is very surprising to me because NC State you would think is the stronger team, but now Notre Dame I guess has a little momentum after that win. So I don't
Is
know.
that game at Notre Dame?
That's at Notre Dame, yes.
Okay.
So
Wow. Well, yeah. We'll see how that one finishes.
but
Miami leads Clemson right now. I think you're going to see, Miami's at home. I think in the ACC in general, and I mean really across college basketball, it's tough to beat a team at home unless you're just significantly better than them. And there's a lot of parity in college basketball now. You don't have the teams like I know Jeff. You remember. The UNLV teams, the Duke teams that you could forget about it. I mean, but you don't really have a lot of that anymore, and so it makes the tournament great, and it makes for some good nights, and it makes for some nights like we had on Saturday against Notre Dame. So
We'll see if old Casey Morcell don't hit us for 25 on Saturday.
I hope not. I really hope not.
I think he's having a good season right now. He's not. He wasn't cut out for the Virginia style.
They made. I saw on Twitter today. He's got his own logo and like apparel that has come out with like his own shirts and.
You got the Morcells?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, it's the Morcell brand, I guess.
Right.
I'm sure that's done through the NIL program.
Oh yeah. No,
no
that's
question.
smart. I want a pair of Beekmans. You want the McNeelys? You want the iMac?
Oh, I want the iMac. I don't want an iPhone. I want an iMac.
That's right. I mean, that's your slogan right there.
Yeah.
They need to hire you on, and let's get this deal done.
I'm all for it. Let's go.
We need to go ahead and get a copyright on that.
Yeah.
The iMacs.
all right, a little bit of discussion about the football team tonight with the quarterback position. A little bit of news. Tony Muskett announced he will be coming back as he had more to give. Also, we will be hosting the New Mexico State quarterback transfer, Gavin Frakes, for a visit. He has 3 years of eligibility remaining as he redshirted the 2023 season. He started 5 games in 2022, threw for 736 yards, 4 touchdowns, ran for 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You like to see the mobility. And he also talked about it was important to find a school with a strong Christian for a head coach. Is there any reason that you guys think he would want to come to UVA with Calandria having 3 years of eligibility left?
Because there's a strong Christian head coach. Said it.
Jay?
Yeah, I mean that'd be one reason. But I'm sure there's a lot of Liberty's right down the road. I'm sure they got a strong Christian. I mean, honestly, I don't know where he's from, so I don't want to. Maybe he's got some family or something that's in the area. Elliott has talked about it's very difficult to recruit the quarterback position right now because, especially in the portal, because when you're getting a guy in the portal, it's probably because he wasn't playing as much as he would have liked at his old school. And so you get a kid coming in to Virginia. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to see Calandria was, freshman All-American, and Musket was starting over him when he was healthy, and he's coming back. So I think, this is probably a situation where he's truly looking at a degree. That's my guess. I mean, that University of Virginia degree means something. And that's total speculation, obviously, but it is a good culture at Virginia. I think Tony Elliott, just not losing guys in the portal and then bringing in Virginia guys, I think it speaks to the culture. And hopefully, if this kid does decide to come to Virginia, obviously I think he'll be a good culture fit because I don't think Tony would bring him in otherwise. So that was good. The other thing about Musket announcing he was coming back, maybe you guys did. I didn't really realize that he was considering not coming back. We had talked about would he want to transfer if AC was going to be handed the job. I'm sure there's conversations the coaches have that we don't hear about. But it was the way that the way I read that quote. He had shoulder reconstruction and he has more to give. And I think he realizes, and again, this is total speculation on my part, but when I read that more to give, that's more of a mentee relationship, I think, with AC and with the program. He is close to home. I'm not sure when you have shoulder reconstruction, are you going to come back the same player? And two, can you take a beating of what a college football quarterback is going to go through if they're the starter for the season? I mean, he didn't make it through this year. He had multiple injuries, healthy. You're talking about a significant injury. So I think there's an understanding that Calandria is the guy. Musket will come in and be the backup, and hopefully if we get this transfer kid, he may actually be the backup. And, who knows? So that's my take, Jeff.
Or I agree about the degree thing. Or I don't know. Is he an athlete that they want to put on the field like they did?
Keaton
what's
Thompson.
his face? Yeah, Keaton Thompson, and maybe not to that degree. And I know Elliott wasn't the coach then. I don't know what kind of athlete he is, but his passing numbers are not good.
No.
I know Jack, you conveniently left out his interception total. So I think he was like 4 touchdowns. What's that?
What was it? I didn't.
I think it's like 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So
Okay.
Yeah,
there's nothing to do jumping jacks about on the throwing game. But when Thompson came in, and I think his quarterback numbers were better than that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I have what's that?
Much better.
And I have no idea at all. Like you said, speculation. And this isn't even speculation. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe he's going to be told he could be used as a Billy Kemp receiver, slot receiver.
He ain't that guy.
What's that?
I saw a little bit of film. He ain't that guy.
Okay. Well.
Worth a try.
Well,
I did used to love
good call.
Keaton Thompson though. His role was unbelievable in his prime in like 2021. So before Bronco left.
Is he a tush push guy, Jay?
No.
So is there any quarterback
Honestly,
role
I'm not even
any
gonna say
football player role that you think he could fulfill other than throwing the ball?
Just on the little bit of highlights, well, whatever you want to call them, that I saw, I would say he's a quarterback, and he's either going to play at quarterback or he's not going to play. Which means at Virginia, he's probably going to be. But you need an experienced backup. If Musket's got 1 year left, so if this kid wants to ride Calandria's coattails, as the backup,
I'm all for it.
He does have some game experience, and he's older. Seeing as how he's already redshirted, so maybe they can develop him.
It could happen. Yeah, you never know. And it's New Mexico State. Like, what did he have around him at New Mexico State too?
Right.
That's
Like,
always
I mean,
interesting. Yeah.
so,
Definitely not that Virginia's got a powerhouse program, but
right,
you got more athletes at Virginia than New Mexico State.
right.
Yeah, we
Yes,
do.
that's right.
And to close out the show here tonight, as always, our NFL picks. Joe, you want to give the rundown?
Sure, appreciate it, Jack. So for the season, we are as a pod 27-27. Not terrible. You're not really losing money. As we always say, for entertainment purposes only. So last week, I had a good week. I was 3-0. That took my yearly total to 13-5 on the season. Jeff was 2-1, 9-9 on the season, and Jack brought it down with the 0-3 last week.
Would have been
To
1-2
drop
if we recorded on time. Would have been 1-2.
Yeah, minor details. It dropped the yearly total to 5-13. So I have a question though, Jack.
What's that?
Is this the week that you go Costanza and go opposite? Like you make a pick, but it's really not what you think. It's really the opposite. Because if you did that last week, you'd be 3-0 with me. So is this the week you go opposite?
No.
Good.
Nah.
All right. Well, no. Hey, consistency.
Consistency is key. Consistency is key.
All right. Well, I guess I'll lead us off. So for my first pick, this line has actually come down and not in my favor. Well, in my favor, but it's showing the money is going in against me. It started out Vikings at Lions. The Lions started off as a 5.5, 6-point favorite, depending on where you were looking. It's down to -3 now, which means for some reason people are coming in on the Lions or on the Vikings. To me, the Lions still have a lot to play for. They're ticked off from the terrible call that went against them Saturday night, and so I just think the Lions, they need this game. It's probably not going to impact their standing in the race for what seed they're going to have. It would take some upsets, I think, to really impact that. But either way, I think the Lions come out angry and win pretty convincingly, and they'll cover that 3. Jeff?
My first pick, my picks are teams that need to win playoff game, need to win to get to the playoffs. And my first one, I got the Jags -5.5 against Tennessee. Tennessee's really been looking bad, and I mean Jacksonville came out, they beat the lowly Panthers last week, 27-0 without Trevor Lawrence. I expect them to come out and beat Tennessee and beat them bad. Actually, I think 5.5 is going to be cake. They need to win. They win the division. They lose, they're sitting at home most likely.
Yeah.
So important game. They're going to play like their lives depend on it. Tennessee, their season's wrapped up and they're just ready for vacation. So those guys, their lockers are packed. They just got to get this game out of the way and then they're done. So give me the Jags at -5.5. Jack, what you got?
I mean, well, I guess people do want to hear my picks because they do want to go opposite of me. But for my first pick, I'll go to the AFC North with the Steelers and Ravens game. The Steelers are actually favored -4. So I'm going to take the Ravens +4, coming off of a very hot win against the Dolphins. As always, my dad's giving me a reaction that makes me nervous. But
Lamar's I just want to make sure you know.
Yes, Lamar
There's
Jackson
a reason.
is sitting. Yes, I
A
know.
lot of their guys are going to be sitting.
Yes.
And Pittsburgh's got a lot to play for as well.
I know.
But no, Baltimore's been playing well.
Baltimore has played very well. They've been coached very well. I'm a fan of John Harbaugh, and give me the Ravens +4.
All
right. So for my second pick, this is really just it's the Jets at Pats over 30.5 points. I mean, when the game can end 17-14 and you're hitting the over, I feel like you just automatically just have to play that. I did look. The Pats are 12-4. in games. They've gone over that total. Most of the games have flown over. They did have a 3-game stretch in a row where they were like 10-6, 9-7, really low scoring games. But they seem to be past that now. Belichick's not the type that's going to let people just pack up their bags and end the season a week early. The Jets aren't going to have Zach Wilson. I don't really know that matters. I don't see it being a high-scoring game, but I do think they get over 30.5. So I'm going to play that as my second pick of the week. Jeff?
I even had senior pick, and I thought about playing that under. The Patriots defense is good, and the Jets have a good defense, and gosh, I'm glad Bill Belichick's the coach of the Patriots for this game because we need the Patriots to win, and so a lot of coaches would just fold up shop as well. And Belichick, this might be his last game as the Patriots coach, so go out and get the win, Bill. But just two rough offenses. I think once they went zappy, the offense for New England got a little bit better. I really think the Patriots are going to win the game, but we'll see.
That's your favorite.
Are they
point favorite?
What is it?
2.5.
2.5.
And that line has moved significantly. I believe it opened with the Jets as a favorite. So
it's a crapshoot, but I really think that the Belichick's team's going to be ready to go, and Belichick wants to win going out. He wants to stick one to Robert Kraft and drop his pick down a little bit on his way out the door. Who knows? And Bill Belichick's
Washington.
Yeah. So my next pick, I got the Saints. Once again, -3 against the Falcons. That's Jack's team.
I can't ever touch the Falcons
so you
again.
definitely bet against the Falcons.
They've hurt me at least 3 weeks this season, at least.
So I wish you were picking the Falcons in one of your picks here, Jack, just so I would feel even better about this. But Saints looked good last week against the Bucks, and once again, they're playing trying to win the division, and I think they're going to go in and beat the Falcons by more than 3 because the Falcons, they've just been looking rough. So,
and if Carolina pulls the upset on Tampa, then the winner of that game between New Orleans and Atlanta wins the division. So.
Right. But the Falcons,
at the same time.
And I don't think the Falcons, they're just not very good. They have more talent there than they're not playing up to their potential capabilities, I guess you could say. There's a lot of talented offensive players and their defense is supposed to be good, but I've said it before. I think it comes down a little bit of coaching there in Atlanta. So, but give me the Saints -3.
All right, my next pick, staying in the same game. I don't know if that's a rule or not, but I'm breaking it if it is. Steelers-Ravens. I'm taking over 35 points. I find it being a low number, and yes, I know starters aren't playing for the Ravens. But I've seen too many points scored between these two teams over the last few weeks, and I like over 35.
I actually like that pick, Jack.
Thank you.
You're going to go 1 and 2. All right, for my last pick, I'm going to take the Bengals at home against the Browns. They're -6.5, and this is a line that if the Cleveland Browns had anything to play for and were playing their guys, it would be ludicrous. The Bengals aren't very good, and they don't have anything to play for. But I do think they want to end the year on a good note, and Cleveland's not going to be playing really anybody, they've said. So I think this is a game that, the Bengals, while they were the Bungles for a long time, they've kind of turned into a proud franchise in the last, 6-7 years. And they play hard. I mean, Marvin Lewis got those guys good, and then they fire him and they brought Burrow in, and they've just been a solid team. So I don't think they're going to lay down and just head into vacation. I think they're going to want to come out. It's at home. I think they're going to want to get some positive momentum going into next year. So I'll take the Bengals -6.5.
All right. My last pick, this team burned me last week, the Bucks. I mean, gosh, they laid a goose egg against the Saints.
They did.
Just terrible. I don't even think they scored. I didn't expect that because the Bucks have been hot. Baker Mayfield have been playing well. Well, the good news for them is they got the Panthers, and they got an owner who's throwing cups of water on the fans. And the Panthers are just a little bit of a dumpster fire right now, and the Bucks have something to play for. So give me the Bucks -4.5. I think they're going to win it by a touchdown or more. Baker's got to come back this week, put on a good show, and then we got to hope that he has one more good one in him and can put Philadelphia out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, my final pick. I'm going to the Rams 49ers, taking the 49ers -4. And I know the 49ers don't have much to play for as far as I'm concerned, but 4 is a low number. The 49ers have been laying it down on almost every team they've been playing against, although they made me a little nervous in that first half there against the Commanders last week. They extended their lead big time after that. Give me the 49ers -4.
Well, the Rams.
Nobody's playing.
What's that?
Huh?
Nobody's playing on either side.
I was going to say the Rams aren't playing their guys either.
So
yeah.
And a couple notes. I'm gonna start with what Jack was just talking. Well, let me just start out with.
Oh boy.
I'm not. You said I'm 9-9 on my picks. I'd rather be Jack's record because at least he's consistently bad. If I'm watching this podcast, I know I can bet against Jack and I'm gonna win some money. If I'm betting with me, if he's betting with me, you're losing. 9-9, you're in the hole some. That's point one. Point two, if I could have got on live last week, I could have made everybody a ton of money because I know I told everybody last week take the overs and all of the Commanders and 49ers skill players. And the only one that bit me was McCaffrey, only because he got hurt. So you would have won money if you followed me there. And if I could have got on live with you, I'd have let you know when we cut that thing down to 3. Get on, and lay it all on the line. Because I got on, I laid it all on the line at 7.5. I was like, this is free money. Let me go make a little money here. And I made some cash off of the Commanders last week, and they're continuing of a disappointing season. You knew that defense wasn't going to stop anybody. So, and then finally, just one more gambling tidbit for you all. NBA. If you want to make a little bit of money, I've been raking in, take the over in the Pacers games. They don't play defense, and they can really score. And take the over in the Wizards game. They're terrible, and they don't play any defense either. And you really could bet against the Wizards on the spreads every time, too. But I cleaned up again tonight. And the next time those teams play, I'm going to clean up again. I'm going to keep cleaning up till it stops hitting red and hits black. I'm gonna ride the train. So a couple little for entertainment reasons. I know y'all are playing with Monopoly money, so that's your Monopoly money smartly. But just a couple tidbits for you guys out there.
So for some more entertainment purposes, I actually have a few potential players. Now it's a little controversial, okay, because I'm a minor and I can't be on these gambling websites, so I don't know what these player props stand at right now. However, so as most people know, Week 18, used to be Week 17, is a week where a lot of playoff teams that can't move around are benching their guys or whatever. Typically, and a very important week for some teams, but a very boring week for other teams. However, Week 18 is also a big week for some players due to bonuses. They can get bonuses for an amount of receptions in a year, an amount of yards in a year, but they got to make that bonus. And so I have a few players here that if you want to go take an over on their yards, their receptions, this is what they need to get their bonuses. Starting off, DeAndre Hopkins for the Titans. If he gets, I believe, over 44 yards, he makes an extra $1.3 million this year in his contract. So you want to best believe that he's trying to get that done. Another one, for the Texans, Dalton Schultz needs 4 receptions in this game in order to make an extra $125,000. 4 receptions. So again, if you want to take the... However, I do believe Vegas does know about this, and they set the props a little higher because of it. So that's just my guess anyways. I don't know for sure.
Vegas knows about all of this, so I can tell you that.
Yes. Thirdly, Chris Jones. All he needs is 1 sack. If he gets 1 sack, he gets an extra $125,000 to his name in his contract this year. And finally, the last one. However, this isn't a contract thing, this isn't a bonus, but Tyreek Hill, if he gets 248 receiving yards in this game, he will break Calvin Johnson's single season record. That's a very high number, but you best believe that he wants to break that record if he's safe, which I know his house is burning down, but I'm pretty sure he's safe. So that's my little tidbit there.
Tyreek Hill's got the personality. He's going for it.
That's what
And
I'm saying.
They got something to play for.
He's going. Yeah, they got.
All those
I was just
guys
getting ready to
will
say
go
that
for it,
too.
of course. I mean, I'm pretty sure I overheard the Titans owner say that DeAndre Hopkins is. They're probably just going to sit him this week, not get him to football. Save a little money to the organization.
You said I do think Dalton Schultz over 3.5 catches is that's probably the line. It may be 4.5, but I would definitely like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet that one. And DeAndre Hopkins, 40. Would you say, Jack? 44.
I believe it's got to be over 44 yards to get him an extra $1.3 million.
That line's probably. What do you think? That's.
I would say 60? That's probably about 55 to 60 would be his line.
It's for the over under.
Yeah.
And really, if I would expect, who's quarterbacking? Tannehill this week, I think. I think they said Levis is out. Tannehill's a veteran. I'm sure they know those things, like Jack's saying, and he's going to try to get it to him.
Oh, he's definitely going to try to get it.
So those are definitely bets. Now the Tyreek Hill, I don't see him getting too far. If anybody could do it,
he'll go for it.
I don't see
possible,
him getting
they have something to play for though. That's the only thing.
I don't know. The odds are probably 25 to 1 if you wanted to stick $10 on it or something.
They're going to probably be – he's going to be like, can we just run some of that end-around little shovel pass? Give me some cheap yards like a running game. I'll be the running back, but make sure. Don't give me anything behind the line.
Yeah, push pass.
Everything's got to be a push pass or down the field.
Yeah.
And then the really obvious one is the Chris Jones. I mean, you could put a bet for him to get a sack, and that's probably not going to win you anything. But
that's not that's not even an option.
That's probably like minus 150 or something.
Is that an option? Can you bet a player to get a sack?
Yeah, you can bet I'm sure you can.
I don't mess with the defense typically, but
defense wins championships.
I think more.
I bet sacks one time this year, and it was a game where I was sure the dude was going to get sacks. It was against Denver. I'm trying to remember the D end. I can't. I'm having a blank moment here, but anyway, the dude didn't even sniff it. He had a terrible game. It was one of Denver's wins on their stretch, and I lost money. So I don't play the defense stuff much.
Yeah, I don't know enough to mess with that. And to get a sack, it's not an easy thing to do. So.
No,
it's not. And that's going to wrap it up for us once again tonight. We appreciate all of you for listening. Be sure to follow all the socials at Talk UVA Sports on Twitter, at The Cavalier Connection on Facebook, at The Cavalier Connection on YouTube, and of course on Spotify at The Cavalier Connection Podcast. Any closing thoughts, guys?
Oh, get ready for NC State on Saturday and hope the team can perform like they did tonight. Play that defense and make a few shots. It's not going to be as easy as tonight, that's for sure.
If the defense and the effort and the rebounding effort and all that travels, they'll be in the game. If they don't, it's going to be a long Saturday.
NC State's got a good home court too. So.
Yep.
Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.